Oh, what the?
Oh, she's talking. Hey guys, we're in a 2018 Holden Colorado, and this one's been tuned.
And it has 1,000 horsepower.
Let's get into it. So yeah, this is the 2018 RGLS model, and it's a bloody big upgrade from the last Colorado we had on the channel.
Well, I was going to say, this is James's ute, which you may have seen his previous Colorado on the channel, the blue one, which had a tune as well. And that actually, well, it showed a few of the newer, more expensive utes, sort of what's up. So I've been looking forward to getting to his new one.
Yeah, so unfortunately, James doesn't know exactly what tune is on this vehicle. It was done by one of his friends remotely, and it has made a big difference, but we didn't get a chance to drive it in stock form, so please forgive us if all of our opinions are based on a tuned Colorado, not a stock one. One thing I will say about the tune, it feels massively torquey, but his fuel economy is still under 9 litres per 100, which is crazy considering he's a bit lead-footed and the size and weight of these things. Now, what do you think of it to drive?
Well, speaking of the weight of these things, they're not a light vehicle by any means. They're around the 2 ton. But on top of that, it can carry over a ton as well. Or if you want to use it as a tow vehicle, you can tow 3 ton.
Yeah, that's huge. That's like more, I think that's higher than a bloody Range Rover towing capacity.
Yeah, and looking at although this is a tuned one, looking at the stock stats of the engine and the power, it is of course the 2.8 diesel Duramax, but they're just under 150 kilowatts and 500 torqueys.
Stock.
So with the tune, obviously they're going to be bumped up a little bit, maybe 10, maybe 20%, and you feel it.
Yeah, it does feel awesome. The way that the way this tune or the engine is worked in with the automatic gearbox just works really, really well. One thing I just want to touch on quickly about this particular model, the information that you get on the dash cluster is amazing. Being able to bring up transmission temperature, oil temp, coolant temp,
the running hours, running time,
yeah, like
idle hours.
I guess maybe not that many people will be interested in that sort of information, but when you're buying one of these second hand that's probably might have had a hard life up the beach, or it might have been a mines vehicle, being able to see that sort of info, you can see it's just good to see.
It's not just that the info screen on the dash cluster, but really the whole cabin. It's obviously had a massive, revamp from the previous model, but the whole car it disguises as although it is a commercial vehicle still, it's disguised itself really well to drive. It's got tons of power.
Yep.
Everything feels quite nice to touch, and you've got, they're not really luxuries, but things you wouldn't really expect from this type of car, like the automatic headlights, all that information. Although it's not important, but all the pretty colours of the display.
It's quite a good looking display, and it does the dial sweep. All right, we'll touch on a few more little quirks of this vehicle in the second part of the video, but for the bits we're interested in, how fast do you reckon this is going to be?
Well, as I just found out, that because this thing has so much torque, even with these big fat tyres that James has put on, it still just spins them instantly in these conditions.
Put a number on it.
It's going to have to be double digits, even though it feels like a very quick ute. It's going to have to be double digits because we're in the wet today. It's going to have to be with traction control on to try and put that power down. So I'm going to say 10.5.
10.5, that'll be quicker than the Volkswagen Amarok.
It feels that quick.
All right, let's get into it. Okay, so keen-eyed viewers may have noticed it's raining. And this car actually has enough torque to just light the rear tyres up. We're going to try 3 different runs. The first one we're going to go traction off, rear wheel drive, see what it does. The second run's going to be traction on.
Yep.
And third run we'll try 4-wheel drive high range. We're only going in a straight line, so the diffs should be fine. Okay, and ready when you are. Try.
Oh, I was trying to be gentle.
Oh,
there it is. I'm trying to
50 k's an hour and it's still going sideways.
I can't roll the power on. I'm to the boards now.
Okay, and that's 100. It's 11.3 with that much wheel spin.
I couldn't touch the throttle.
That's crazy. All right, go traction on. Got another one. Oh, hang on. There. Okay, traction and stability is fully on. Just gonna reset this. Okay, good to go. Pin it, I reckon. Oh, traction is still quite
To the
forgiving.
boards. Oh, it's not too bad.
It feels quicker.
Oh, power's coming on now.
And that's it. That was 11 dead.
I'm impressed. It sorted it out pretty damn good.
Damn. Awesome. All right. We'll do one last run. We won't engage four-wheel drive until we're in a straight line. I honestly don't know if these have locking diffs. Remember back in the day, you never want to run in four-wheel drive on the road. Stop. Stopped. We are engaging four. Go.
Ready?
Yep. Oh, far out.
Holy! Is this an Evo?
Okay. I did a 9.4.
Dude, that's amazing.
Okay, after being quite impressed with four-wheel drive, we're going to try traction off four-wheel drive. So we get back on the same straight bit of road.
Nope. Okay.
Brakes. And into
Four drive shifts in progress. We are good.
Staller up. Let's go. Oh, got me wheel spin. Keep it in it. Keep it in it. Okay. 9.3. Damn.
This.
Boy, I can't believe we're spinning all four wheels in a four-cylinder diesel.
I'm not kidding. That is hooking up. That is like, it's pushing you into the back of the seat.
Wait, we'll go straight on. We'll disengage the four-wheel drive. That's fast enough. That's 9.3.
Oh.
It might have more. Do you want to try manual shift? Nah, I reckon that's going to be screaming. Okay.
To be honest, I don't think it's gonna. It's pulling really, really hard.
And back into two-wheel drive. All right, we'll see you guys in a sec. Well, that was pretty damn impressive.
Just a bit.
That the fastest run that it did was 9.33. That was traction off in four-wheel drive, and traction on in four-wheel drive did a 9.34. So pretty similar, but unfortunately, in the rear-wheel drive in the wet, the fastest time was a 11.07. Now, that is the first sort of mildly moist. Well, it's not mildly moist. It's the first wet 0 to 60 we've ever tried to do, but we've only got this car for today, so we had to get it sorted. I honestly think it would go quicker in the dry because it broke loose in the wet on its fastest run.
Yeah, a 2-ton diesel ute in the wet, in all-wheel drive mode, still lost traction. But it did, through all those runs, it progressively got quicker as it could put more power down with the traction control and then the all-wheel drive. And I think in the dry, when you haven't got to send power to the front as well, which I'd imagine would suck a little bit of power.
Yes.
And the rear has traction. I reckon it's got even more in it.
Yeah, it's going to be getting very close to that 9-second mark in perfect conditions. Just to touch on what it's beaten all of the other diesel dual cabs. So even the fastest one we've ever done was the Navara STX 550. They're the V6 550 torque D40 models, which were pretty impressive out of the box. That car managed a 9.66. That was in rear-wheel drive back in the day. It's smashed the Amarok, which is the 4-cylinder Amarok, which did a 11.9. The old generation Remapped Colorado did a 12 seconds flat. The it was a 16 model Hilux.
Yep.
That did a 12.7. And then the old faithful NP300 did a 13.5. So
13.5. And they're all in the dry as well.
Yeah, and actually another diesel, the Volvo, the Polestar tuned Volvo we did. This beat that. That Polestar was 9.78.
And that's not a slow car.
No.
Let alone a ute.
This is, with the tune, it's bloody impressive. Fuel economy. Even us thrashing it around, it's not gone over 15 litres per 100.
I like that graph. See, it's got an active graph, and you can see literally where the run started because the fuel economy, the fuel consumption doubled. It's a bit surprising that this car has
a lot of features.
Those functions, yeah.
We were just pulling up at a set of lights before on a hill. It's got hill start assist, so it puts the brakes on, which, I mean, it's autos, but it's just another feature. These are relatively cheap. They're around the 45,000 Aussie.
Yeah, something you
full lick.
something you wouldn't expect, and even that, that's standard, it comes with the reversing camera as well.
Yeah, reversing camera. The interior, this is being the LS, this particular one does not have carpet, and the seats are pretty basic if we want to pick on a few things, but the dashboard looks really nice. It has got the Holden MyLink.
Yeah, that's brilliant
Lovely
to have.
infotainment system with the reversing camera, and it will connect to your phone and do all that sort of modern stuff.
If you want to pick on some things, really the only things I can fault is the ride quality, but that's kind of expected for the stock suspension, and I know a lot of people do put aftermarket shocks in them.
I remember the MP300 that we tested back in the day, stock, when that car was standard, it felt just like this.
Yes.
And he sorted it out when he went to the Bilsteins, which was only about 1,000 or 1,200 Aussie for Bilsteins and lifted springs.
Which was well worth it.
And I think this car would probably benefit from it. And again, the guy that owns it, it's his work car, he's not too fussed, he's got a nice car for the family, it does what he wants it to do, so we're nitpicking here.
It's a very fancy farm car, if I'm honest.
Even like these little bits of fake aluminium trim on the doors, it all
Yeah.
looks quite nice. Leather steering wheel.
It's also quite a big, like everything feels, it's rough's probably the wrong word, but you haven't got to worry. Like James, he lives on a farm and you can just jump in and out of it. He's had it for 2 years now, 50,000 kilometers, and it still looks brand new. Nothing's wearing.
Yeah, that is true actually. Even like these big aircon controls, easy to use. Everything is built to last. I like the cup holders. They're removable.
That was weird. I was surprised. And it's got a little home in the...
If you're not using them, you can put them in the center console. Got cruise control. It's a really well feature-packed vehicle. If you can't tell, we're quite impressed with it. And we always take into account what they cost versus what you get for your money. And comparing it to the Hilux, it's a no-brainer.
There's a lot... you do get a lot for your money. You can't argue with that. And particularly if you want to tow anything, I mean, the power of this thing is almost absurd. It's impressive.
All right, I think we're going to leave it there, guys. Look, thank you very much for watching. If you've got one of these in standard form, let us know what you think about it. Again, we haven't driven a stock one. Will you all spin the tyres like this thing does?
And if you've got a tuned one, I suggest going and giving some people in some relatively fast cars a run off the lights, because you're going to get them.
All right, guys, thanks again. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.